Drew Barrymore is in the news because if you don't remember, not too long ago, she was attempting to bring back the Drew Barrymore show.
Stabbed.
Yeah, she attempted to cross the picket lines to bring back her show, the Drew Barrymore show, and she got outed and ostracized by all members of both unions, and she gave a tearful, groveling apology because these unions have proven themselves to be unbelievable bullies. Have they not? Right?
Yes,
and
she said, I've listened to everyone and I'm making the decision to pause the show's premiere until the strike is over. I have no words. She's literally like choking up when she said this. I have no words to express my deepest apologies to anyone I've hurt. And of course, our incredible team who works on the show and has made it what it is today. We really tried to find our way forward, and I truly hope for a resolution for the entire industry very soon. But her apology didn't mean anything.
As we all know that apologies never do anything.
She was already smeared for it, and she can't come back.
So her main writers, the main writers for her show, Chelsea White, Christina Cannon, and then Liz Coe, have all decided that they're not going to come back because at the end of the day, they don't care about their work. They want to virtue signal to the union.
Right.
Like,
have they said anything about this?
No, I didn't see anything, and they don't have I didn't see strong Twitter presences. So it says, while the WGA was ongoing, however, they could be picketing outside. Remember, the writers are still, a lot of them are still going to be picketing for the actors.
Yeah, that's stupid.
So it really was never about standing in solidarity with your fellow workers. It's about power and compliance.
Yeah.
Having a resentment for the person who pays your bills.
That's actually one of the things I was thinking about because, like, I was watching something recently, and it was some episode of a TV show, and they were talking about how millennials don't want to work anymore. Like, it was like a union boss. I think it was an episode of Blue Bloods. He goes, millennials don't want to work anymore. They want to live and let live. And they kind of reference like the gig economy, how a lot of these people are going to work for a faceless, like an even more faceless corporation than they were working for before. Where if you work for, if you're working for a construction company, you're going to know the foreman or you're going to meet the foreman. But if you're working for Uber Eats or you're working for Lyft, you're not going to meet the CEO of Lyft or the CEO of Uber. Right? So there isn't this strong, and also these aren't fields where people are spending 20 years doing it. There used to be a much deeper connection to your job, right? Like a lot of Americans used to identify themselves by their career. Oddly enough, these people do that. I think a lot of them see themselves as like Hollywood writers, but not in the same kind of what I would actually call back in the day, sort of a wholesome Americana way. This is more like they may identify as writers, but they have to identify as like union writers. Otherwise, they'll be ostracized and pushed out.
Yeah. As to what you were just saying, I recently saw this TikTok that went viral, which, again, people filming their coworkers unbeknownst to their coworkers and then posting it to go viral on TikTok. Gross behavior.
Ooh, I do that to Charles all the time.
This girl recorded this man who had been working at her company, whatever it was, for like 50 years, and he was retiring that week. And she said, they gave him a gift card. No one said anything to him, and it was like this job was probably all he really had that was stable in his life. He probably like didn't have a family of his own, wasn't married, and he didn't want to retire. He loved his job.
To retire.
Yeah, but they sent him off with a gift card and said goodbye. So like there's no loyalty to companies, but there's also no companies don't care about retaining their workers anymore.
Nope,
everyone is replaceable. Every employer and every employee is considered replaceable now.
There's a $20 one there from Mayor Mercules.
I work as an apartment maintenance technician. I also do audio production on the side. I will never have a beeping smoke detector. All the single mid-aged women who live in my apartments think I'm some kind of magic wizard.
Bro, I used to work as an apartment maintenance person too. So respect. It is great though. Like it's like the meme where it's just like my grandparent. It's like a guy in like a lab coat and he looks like a scientist. It says how my grandparents see me after I change the TV from HDMI 1 to HDMI 2. Like,
people don't know how to change the batteries in their smoke alarms.
They just that's insane, right? But yeah, like there's no loyalty on both sides, and these for the unions though, it was never about about being proud of these people you work with, which is funny because they're always the ones who like give the syrupy speeches. They're like, oh, they were so great to work for. She's such a great person. But if you don't comply, I'm going to throw you under the bus and not come back to work.
Not like I'm going to be missing the Drew Barrymore show, which that's like where that clip of her kneeling down before her god, Dylan Mulvaney, came from. Like, you know, I don't care about any of these people at all.
Yes, in the chat, Dust in the Wind says we love landlords here. We do.
We love landlords.
I was saying, no, I said to Lydia and Andy, I said the single funniest thing in all of 2023 was Matan Evan going around saying we love landlords. It's so funny. Maybe it is because the rent is just getting so obscenely high, and it's like people fall on their ideological lines. And it's like conservatives can't hate landlords because the left hates landlords. So
maybe we shouldn't hate landlords. We have to hate the Airbnb owners.
Yes, it's just it's so funny.
They make you deep clean the house after staying there for 3 days and feed their dog.
Yep.
And pay the utility bill while you're at it.
Yeah, it's really funny. And for something like this, I just imagine that she's used to it because I think Hollywood, as much as they talk about being that they're pro-human, that they're good people, at the end of the day, they fall into whatever camp gets them the farthest in life. And I think these ladies they want to be seen as virtue signaling for the union because it's going to get them more work in the future. Right?
Well, where are they going to go?
They'll go to one of the other shows.
They're already getting replaced.
Yeah. But I'm saying, but they will go for some. Also, I somehow, I can't explain this. I have no actual logic behind this thought process. So bear with me. I'm literally, it's just in my head. It makes sense. Somehow I imagine the talk show writer class is even more of an activist group than your average writer class because they know they're trying to reach the same amount of soccer moms as the people.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And the SNL writers room.
Exactly.
Imagine what that is. They said they're coming back with Pete Davidson and Ice Spice in a couple of weeks. And Christian Toto tweeted about it. He was like, they're going to have a couple of sketches about like Lauren Boebert, a couple of sketches about Trump. I saved you 90 minutes of your life.
The Trump ones can't have a strong return on investment anymore, can they? Do people really laugh at that?
If you have TDS, yeah.
Some people still do. The general population is kind of done.
Like it's like when people make jokes on the other side. It's like when people make non-binary jokes. They're not funny. They're just not clever. Not that there isn't something to laugh at there, but they tend to not be very funny or very clever.
There's an expiration date
because both sides have kind of like used up most of the. Ryan Long still does a pretty good job with finding creative humor that layers out, right? Jeff Dye does some fairly good humor that layers out. He had one the other day where he actually makes this skit. He goes, can you imagine like where he's saying like women comedians get to say crazier shit than men, and he actually gets away with saying the crazy shit by saying that men can't say the crazy shit by saying
what
like
was it?
Basically he said like he's like a woman will be on stage and say something like go down on me because then they can't talk, and he's like, can you imagine what would happen if I said, and then he says what he wouldn't be allowed to say as a regular joke because he's framing it in the context of something he's supposedly not able to say. It's very clever. Yeah. It's very clever. Yeah. There's a $20 one there from Ryan, the eating warrior.
2020 opened the eyes of a lot of older people that worked at jobs for decades being dropped because they refused mandatory shots. I'm loyal to only God and family only. I encourage everyone to do the same as well.
In none of these writers, like the writers might have loyalty to the union, but it's not like a lot of these people are like, I'm only working for NBC. No, that's not how it works. It's funny enough that they hate rich people and rich corporations while begging to work for them. They're like, I hate you. You have so much money. You should give that money to me because I would somehow be the better user of your money, Mr. Corporation. But it doesn't seem to really connect in their heads that way, right? It is also going to be funny to see a lot of these writers fall on their face when they realize that they've advocated for merit-based policies like, yes, we'll pay you more money if your show does well, but we're going to greenlight less shows and we'll only pay out high to the ones that actually do well. So the Vince Gilligans of the world are still going to do plenty good, making shows like Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad. Those shows, those people are going to be fine. The ones making Warrior Nun, Not so much.
No.
Not so much. The people making Robin Hood. Not so much. Not so much. I don't think so. But do you think that this is one of these cases where it would happen in every industry? Because I don't think this is unique to Hollywood. But it is interesting. Like, I wonder if the men, like, do you think this could be a gender thing? Do you think a man would leave this show on this principle?
No, it's definitely the pettiness unique to women.
Yeah, like I feel like the guy would be like, "Look, I didn't agree with his actions, but
meanwhile, over on like Jimmy Fallon, they're getting like verbally abused by him, like they're drunken.
Thank you. Which he didn't address when they came back.
No, he didn't address that, and he didn't address the fact that the strike ever happened. That's really weird, right?
No, that's okay. It's kind of like COVID. I don't want to hear about it.
He did address the article about him abusing his employees in that Zoom call where he was like, "I'm sorry, I just want us to have the best show and like the most, wholesome environment."
He's like shaking from the DTs. He's like going through withdrawal right then. I hope the dude is like gotten help. Right?
Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah, like I hope the dude wouldn't that have
they
been
didn't even outwardly say that he was an alcoholic or whatever. Like they kind of just implied it.
It would have been a golden time for him to like during the strike to maybe go and try and get some help, but then they were going to do the Strike Force 5 thing.
Yeah, that kind of got hampered after.
Thank God.
Oh darn.
They saw the strike going on until next year.
I mean, in actors.
That's why Drew Barrymore made this decision. She saw no end in sight, and she wants to work, unlike some people.
Like, I just want to put this picture of her on screen and be like, this is what they made her look like.
This is what they reduced her down
Look
to.
at her face. She just looks broken.
She's just a wreck.
I've come to one major conclusion in everything that we've seen from the strike, and that's the unions are bullies, and they use and they use people's desire to fit in as leverage and as a weapon. Like it is
I don't know about any other industry unions. Like I don't know enough about it. I'm sure that electricians and plumbers and truck drivers
are very proud of their
unions. Of good regulations and demands that have helped them. I don't have anything to say about that, but specifically the writers and actors, they're not providing anything of value to society, so I don't care about supporting their demands.
Yeah. Yep.
And I hope this has hurt them more than helped them.
Well, now we'll just have to wait a little bit longer before Dylan Mulvaney comes back to show up on Drew Barry. Also, like I had like a visceral reaction because I was trying to explain to people why you should fear these people, because they're sitting on when they did that presentation where they're like sitting on the floor and they're like clasping hands and they're crying. I'm like, do you understand that there's like look at this, like you can't really see it from the shot, but we're in like a studio with lights and all of this stuff, right? It's not easy to fake emotion like that. So you have one of two options. One, they're absolutely ideologically zealots, right? Mm-hmm. Or two, and in my opinion, the scarier option is that they're just very, very good at feigning emotional connection with other people, which is just as scary, if not worse. And it's not something I support. Like in a movie, sure, that's your job. It's your job to do that. When you're trying to enact social change by using those skill sets, I'm not a fan of that. I don't like that. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.